Fundamentally, the issue that's really putting us, in my opinion, at the very, 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 very back foot in every single regard is this one. It's feminism. I've said this the entire time. This has been one of my long-running stances. I think Western civilization's major issue is feminism. We are essentially completely and utterly destroying our entire culture by, manipulating people and emotionally gaslighting them to force them into, thinking that you need to have empathy for all the third worlders and stuff. This is the cause for all the woke judges releasing people forever from jails, no matter how many crimes they commit. This is what's facilitating the mass migration, because we have a hyper radicalized, gigantic group of morons that have been socially manipulated through feminism. The reality, though, is that dream is dying because feminism produces some of the most unhappy people on the planet, both male and female.
For so long, there was this feminist movement that tried to push and tell us that we should all just kind of put aside wanting to start a family. Don't worry about getting married. Don't worry about having kids. You should solely focus on your career. And I know so many women, and you probably do too, Rachel, who got to a certain age and realized, wait a minute, this is something I actually want. And in many cases, they either had a huge struggle to have children, or they couldn't do it at all, and they were left absolutely devastated. But you're right, this isn't about locking.
And the ones that don't admit that they're devastated are still devastated. They just lie about it. Because the reality is, and I know a lot of people are like, well, some women want children. No, all women want children. All women want a husband to take care of them. A lot of them are tricked. All right, all. And when I say all, I don't mean 100%. Obviously, they're outliers to everything, but I think high 90 percentile. All right, like reality is, they want a husband to take care of them, and they want children that they could take care of. Ultimately, I think this is the basic instincts, and you could say that this is biologically, all right? Biologically speaking, I think that is absolutely how women were designed. And every single metric and statistic in the world proves me correct.
Women up in the home and saying, like, you can't go out and pursue things independently. This is about women continuing to work and having independent pursuits of their own, but it is about a focus on returning to family. And those of us with families of our own know, Rachel, it doesn't matter what I do the rest of my life. The most powerful title I will ever have is the title of mom.
I mean, just objectively true. And the reality is, the trad wife path now has 47% approval, and the girl boss dream only has a 23% approval. Because the girl boss dream means that you get to pat yourself on the back, and a lot of your girlfriends get to pat you on the back, and you will be deeply miserable and alone with a couple of cats, with no children, with no husband. You will come home to an empty, pristine house and be fucking sad and wallow in your misery. And instead of admitting to yourself that you're miserable, you know what you're going to do? You're going to convince another generation of women to also follow your steps, because you're such an egotistical bitch. And the reality is, this is falling apart really fast. Really fast. And this is why it happens. I've always said that it comes from grooming, and I think it really does. This is a middle school where the entire middle school identifies as transgender and non-binary. Well, this is a statistical anomaly, isn't it? Or is it just child grooming?
Hello, my name is Ace. I also go by Spade and Alex. A lot of people call me Marshmallow. I use any pronouns except for she, her.
The mask and everything. Holy fuck. This is like every mental illness all combined into one. Catch them all for mental illnesses.
And I am the social media secretary of the Saline Middle School.
You should go to jail for child grooming.
Gay Straight Alliance Club. This will be our first video, so we are doing a brief introduction of the membership, but other than that, have a good time here.
Hi, I'm Jinx. I go by they pronouns, and I am the vice president of GSA, and I am Cal's father.
Hi, my name is B. Pronouns they them, and I'm GSA secretary. One little fact about myself is that I like public speaking.
Great. Hell yeah. I'm sure you will be able to groom children for a very, very long time. And oh my God, look at them. It's like an actual freak show. All right. And the reality is, the masks and everything, an entire middle school identifies as transgender and non-binary. We all know what this means. We all literally know that this means that there was a teacher that was a groomer that groomed these people into this position. We all know that that is the reality because we're not fucking retarded and our eyes are open. All right. 0.1% of the population is all of a sudden an entire middle school. Oh, well, we yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. How did that happen? Well, we all know exactly how it happened. And we all know that it's an offshoot of feminism. It's this radical idea of no, the reality doesn't matter. Forget reality. Women are stronger than men. Women could be men. We have to just accept everything, no matter how illogical and how antithetical to reality it actually is. We have to just grow up and accept it and love it and nurture it and affirm every mental illness we could possibly find. So yeah, these poor kids were all groomed, and it's insane, and these teachers need to go to fucking jail. Now, apparently there was a debate that just happened between Andrew Wilson's wife, okay, all right, and a conservative influencer who actually just turned out to be a radical feminist, it seemed, all right? So I didn't watch this yet, but I'm very excited to see what we got. This is going to be great, because this is literally the debate, all right? This is the seemingly the girl boss archetype versus the, you know, the trad wife archetype.
What happens when Andrew Wilson's wife sits down with an attractive female conservative who has taken photos with Trump and campaigned for Turning Point USA, claims the Second Amendment is women's rights? This one gets interesting. Andrew Wilson's wife goes beast mode.
The expectation is that when it comes down to it, the men the women and children.
Bro, this is the cat fight of the year. Oh my god, and apparently she runs off the podcast? All right, dude.
Get the lifeboats, and the men are supposed to sacrifice their lives for the women and the children. And as long as that's the expectation, there's no such thing as equality, and that's never going to change.
And in reality, that doesn't happen, does there?
She tries to counter this by claiming, yes, but that doesn't actually happen in reality.
That's like the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Objectively, men and women don't have equal rights. Women have more rights than men in America right now because there's the draft. Right? If it ever comes a time that there's a draft, then men will be drafted and women will not. So that is just, you know, literally one right that women have that men don't. Right is obviously a placeholder word for whatever you want to call it. It's a privilege that women have that men do not have. Men do not have the privilege to decide not to get drafted if a draft shows up. And that's just objectively true. All right? Her response is, but drafts don't happen. Excuse me? Do you see what's going on in Ukraine right now?
Now, this gives Rachel a plethora of moves.
As long as one sex is expected to die for the other, there cannot be equality.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
She doesn't know what hit her. And it
That's it. It's over. It's just fucking over. Wait, no.
quickly becomes apparent that she
awkward.
has not thought these things through in this way before.
I'm trying to get off this podcast.
Well, I mean, be a good sport, but people sent in some super chats.
There's no such thing as a law of logic. How's that?
Are you serious?
This puts her in a corner
No, that had to be a joke. That had to be a joke. There's no way. No one's that fucking retarded.
because how can you claim that every life has equal value? How do you counter this argument? Because there is that expectation.
How about women sign up for the draft?
Well, what they again, probably not going to happen. What they did do recently.
Why shouldn't we? But
What they
ought
did do
we to make it
recently-
fair? If you want equality, women ought to sign up for the draft just like men, right?
I
Wouldn't
want
that be
equality.
equal?
That's
I want
equality.
equality, which is why I want men to not have to sign up for the draft.
You can't. There's no way. How are these people so fucking stupid though? Like that's really the question. You know, like this is a conservative influencer took pictures with Trump. You know, went out there and got votes. They have zero ideology. There is nothing moving past those eyes.
Okay, then if we get invaded by a foreign power, who fights?
How about we finish these? Because
That's what I thought.
Yeah, run.
I made my
You've got
argument.
nothing.
I made my argument. There was no argument.
Her only counter to this,
There's not gonna be a draft.
which is the only counter you can make if you are in her position, is that is not equality. Therefore, we should not have the draft. The problem is what if the draft is actually necessary?
Yeah, the draft isn't a thing. The draft is always a last resort. Like, no one wants a draft to happen, but inevitably, if it does happen, it's men that's going to get drafted. Obviously, like in every war in the history of humanity. Because men are better fighters. Because men are better soldiers and warriors, objectively, biologically. All right? So that means that women have more privileges than men in America. That's true. So equality doesn't exist, right? So if equality doesn't exist under this feminist, umbrella, then they claim they're fighting for equality, but equality is not real, so why should women get the right to vote?
in certain scenarios.
War is not going away, so the draft is not going away.
Definitely not. Although I don't think it'll ever be used because of, like you mentioned,
Wait,
Rachel,
we're closer.
Technology.
What are we even talking about? Like, this is retarded.
That's crazy.
It tries to
Ukraine is a draft, Israel is a draft, and these are like first world countries, right? These are first world countries.
argue that the draft won't actually be necessary in the future because of technology, drones.
India has a draft, Pakistan has a draft. Like, bro, it's crazy. It's actually insane. You know, China and Russia aren't super friendly to us. England and France aren't friendly to us even. Who knows? In a generation, they're going to be Muslim majority countries.
Not sure.
God help us.
About that. Watch what Rachel does with this.
You don't
Did you just see how many men were in Russia and Ukraine over the past few years?
I'm talking about the
technology
US. The
did
US,
not.
Rachel.
It would be the same thing if we were
Iran.
We have service
We're
people
literally
who are
at
being
war right now.
there.
Which I disagree with. What
It's very easy
great.
to say, well, I disagree with that, so...
It is still...
I disagree with the war. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Don't worry, guys. The barbarians will not rape you.
Men to have access to the vote, and if they don't register for the selective service, technically a felony, $250,000 fine. They're barred from certain federal jobs, from receiving federal student loans. So even then, they're still
with all that.
It doesn't matter. What?
Disagree with all of that.
What does that have to do with
anything?
anything?
The current status quo.
Well, I disagree with that, so that's how I contend with the argument. But you're baking it into your argument.
I'm saying my argument is
I believe in equality. Equality is not here because men go to the draft. I don't agree. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, dude.
we are not going to invoke a draft anytime.
How can you say
You
that
can't say
definitively?
that. We're
I
going
wish there
to.
was
In
a-
fact, it's inevitable that we will again at some point.
Rachel makes an interesting point about normalcy bias, which is worth understanding.
She just lives in Delulu land where she has normalcy bias where in her lifetime this is how it's always been, therefore it's always going to be that way. So another
Statistically, America is going to exist until it ceases to exist. The moment that it ceases to exist because something happens. When that thing happens, it will probably cause a draft. All right? It is inevitable that there will inevitably, at some point in human history, be a draft in the United States. I know that's a dark way of saying it, but that's just true.
fallacy, the normalcy
that's just
bias.
statistical probability.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's
You have no
not.
statistics to back that up. You just
No.
keep asserting
Wait,
garbage.
wait.
And many people seem to have this idea that in the future warfare will just be electrical grids going down and drones.
No, it's not. It's women controlling drones. What are you talking about?
Robots
What are
fighting
you
robots.
talking
And we
about?
won't need the draft. So don't worry about the fact that the draft exists and will continue to
Men will be stay at home and women will be pushing buttons, sending drones to blow each other up. Absolutely.
exist.
Rachel, wouldn't statistics...
Okay, are we done?
Hold on,
Since we just finished our
Statistics would bear out that we're
arguments.
going to
Well, yes,
probably
we do
have
the
a
closing
draft.
argument.
How is she a military expert? What does she know about warfare?
Or
You have
advanced
no idea about
technology
war.
within
That's
all
not
gonna be-
true.
years
It's
to
gonna be
come.
drones,
It's gonna be
bro.
drones.
Yeah, it's all going to be drones.
Oh my
It's
God,
gonna be
dude, this is
electrical
brutal.
grids going down. It's
Oh
gonna be
my
cyber
God, she's
warfare.
fucking
It's
stupid.
gonna be
retarded.
that
That'll be,
kind of stuff.
that'll be a component.
They're so stupid.
The problem with someone in her position is that they must argue for why we don't need the draft. And you can't make that argument. If
And
it
she's
is
supposed
what
to be conservative. She's doing this whole argument why we don't actually need men. Bro, that's perfect.
makes the difference in a hypothetical invasion.
Okay, then if we get invaded by a foreign
Oh my God, we're
power
still
who
going at
fights,
this. How about we finish these? 'Cause
okay,
Uh-huh.
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
She's got
run. Run.
I made my
You've got
argument.
nothing.
I made my argument.
I'm gonna...
What you want is equality when and where it suits you, and then you want men to, as long as
Yeah.
one sex
Yeah.
is expected to die
That's
for
right.
the other, there
Exactly.
cannot be equality.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, that is
Exactly.
All right, so
absolutely
she lost.
right.
Correct.
Most
It's
men
over.
are not dying for
Most?
women.
This has nothing to do with the frequency
But
at which
they're expected to. Holy fuck, these people are stupid. They're stupid. They're just dumb. They're dumb.
it occurs.
I don't even think they're as dumb as they just don't think. They just don't think. This is like the MAGA babe. The MAGA babe that's going to be like, well, actually, I'm pro-Trump and strong men, and I want a husband. And it's like, but you're a radical feminist. You know, it's like, it's crazy. It's actually insane that we're living on this timeline.
This has to do with the reality of the expectation.
The expectation is that when it comes down to it, the men, the women and children get the lifeboats, and the men are supposed to sacrifice their lives for the women and the children. And as long as that's the expectation, there's no such thing as equality, and that's never going to change.
And in reality, that doesn't happen.
It does happen!
She doesn't know what hit her here. I don't think she was expecting this. I don't know how you could not expect this. Like, just do a little bit of research. You could see this coming.
Christopher Scott, you said not allowing women to vote is illogical. What law of logic does not allowing women to vote
Great question.
violate? Do you want to respond to that?
You love logic. You should know the 3 laws of logic, right?
I've already answered that question multiple times. I'm trying to get off this podcast.
It's so remarkable that inevitably all these conversations end up going the same way, where the person is just like, I can't handle this. I need to get off this podcast.
It's because people don't think through their actual positions. It's unbelievable. The surface level thinking that goes on is remarkable. And these people vote on how our country should operate. All right. And then they'll morally grandstand on Twitter telling you that you're a fascist. It's unbelievable when you actually take a look at it, how few people actually think past like the TikTok surface level.
Why?
Well, I mean, be a good sport, but people sent in some super chats.
There's no such thing as a law of logic. How's that?
Bro, dude, this is a nightmare.
I mean, this is going to become a meme.
There's no such thing as a law of logic. How's that?
Chats?
There's no such thing as a law of logic. How's that?
Bro.
Chats?
There's no such thing as a law of logic. How's that?
That's brutal. That's absolutely brutal.
And right when you think it can't get any worse, it gets worse.
No.
Law of logic. That's a good one.
Oh my gosh.
Bro.
Okay. So you don't know that there's...
Wait, do you want to do a bet? $1,000 bet?
A law of logic.
You just sat here on this podcast and the last podcast talking about how you're logical and you have the logic positions and you love logic, and then you said there's no such thing as the laws of logic.
Oh, they're fucking killing her.
3 laws of logic. Let's just go over them. The law of identity, the law of excluded middles, and the law of non-contradiction.
What are the...
There's a single definition of the law of logic. Is that what you're arguing?
No, there's 3 laws of logic that govern how logic works.
Single law of logic.
He said, which law of logic does not allow women? Would it be the? I'm not even gonna.
This is brutal. This is just brutal.
Law of identity.
What law of logic? He's asking which.
The law of non-contradiction. These are laws that govern what is logical. Otherwise, how would you know what's logical?
What's logical is that men and women hold equal inherent value.
Okay, then why are men expected to give their lives first? Maybe that's just baked within the very fabric of reality, given the biological differences. But you must contend with that reality. Biological differences that lead to them being treated unequally in the response of an emergency, a crisis, a boat sinking, war, and you are contradicting yourself.
What you believe in is fairy tale stuff. It's only there, but it's only there granted to you by men. Do you understand that?
I understand that, Rachel. Our rights don't come from whether people or not can overpower us. I mean,
they do.
Rights aren't real. Rights aren't real. That's why, if you think that a woman's right is the right to vote, then why can't women vote in Pakistan or in Afghanistan or in any of the stands? All right, why can't they vote there? If it's an inherent right baked into them, why can't they do it? It's because the people that have power, men, stop them from doing it. Because these rights aren't real. They're socially given by the people with the authority. So in America, the American authority and government gives women the right to vote. That's why women have the right to vote. It's not an inherent right. There's no such thing as an inherent right. Bro, these people are so fucking stupid. They just don't think. They just don't think. I get so worked up, man, because this is someone that's going out there telling people how to vote. This is someone that votes. This is someone that's going out there to explain how they're factual and logical and everyone else is fucking retarded. And everyone that disagrees with her is obviously a fascist or a misogynist. And the reality is, she's just fucking dumb. She doesn't think these things through at all. It's brutal.
Literally
it's brutal.
Rights are just an entitlement absent duty. It's something that you just deserve.
Yep.
And women love to talk about what they deserve. The deserving. I deserve.
Bro, damn,
right?
Damn.
Women think of the world this way. This is a gender difference. Women think of the
bro.
An entitlement absent of duty. It sounds like an Andrew Wilson definition.
Yeah, damn. Wow, that's just fucking nightmarish. Holy shit. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen.